All right, next up, we're being asked specifically to find the height. So first things first, don't assume anything. Don't assume we're dealing with a certain shape. Don't assume we're dealing with a certain formula, a certain perimeter or area. We really have to just understand what we're dealing with first. Yeah, we're looking for height, but what is the shape? And it says triangular sign. Okay, cool. Now, are we dealing with Pythagorean theorem? Are we dealing with area, perimeter? What are we dealing with? And we see here that it says area. Right there, clearly it says area. So this triangle has a certain area, and they give you the base. We're looking for the height. Now it makes a little more sense. So to help yourself represent how this is all supposed to go down, here's my recommendation. Let's write that formula for the area of a triangle. Area equals base times height divided by 2. Just like that. Base times height divided by 2. Now from here, we're going to plug everything in. I am looking for the height. I am looking for this right here. So what that tells me is I should have something plugged in for A. I should have something plugged in for the base. And that's what these are going to be. Area is 48 square inches. And then we have the base is 16. We'll plug those values in exactly as we saw them, exactly where they're supposed to be. 48 for the area. My base is 16. My height I'm still looking for, so I'll leave that as a capital H. And then we have 2 right over here. So now that we're here, a lot of people are going to be looking at this and say, hey, coach, I'm a little nervous about dealing with, 16. What do I do with that 2? What do I do with all of this? Here's what we do. Everyone, help me out here. When we're dealing with fractions and you potentially have a number in the numerator that could be divided by the number in the denominator, what is that term called that starts with an S? Oh yeah, that's simplification. We're trying to simplify here. We're trying to simplify. Everybody, what is 16 divided by 2? That's going to be a pretty convenient one. That is going to be 8. So if I take the 16 and the 2 together, you can divide those and get 8. So this turns into 48 equals 8 multiplied by H. One more question, my party people. What is the opposite of multiplying by 8? That's going to be dividing by 8 on both sides. And what is that going to give us? 48 divided by 8 has us end up with a cancellation on the right, and H equals 6. 6 inches in this case, since we're dealing with the rectangular signs, dimensions in inches. But there we go. That is why the correct answer here is answer choice B. If we would have thought that this was a rectangle, we would have gotten A accidentally. But knowing the proper formula that fits in before calculating, that makes all the difference, and I hope you see that. And let's give this next problem a shot here. So first things first, we're going to read that question sentence, and it says, what is the total amount that you pay? Okay, cool. So my party people here, it looks like we just want to know what that final amount that we pay is, but as of right now, before we actually read this up here, we don't know yet if we are trying to apply a tax, a discount, a tip, a markup. We don't know any of that yet. So when we read the question sentence, just know that you want the final amount. And when we read through the information, that's going to help navigate us through how we're going to get there. So here it says a restaurant bill is $84 and you leave an 18% tip. What is the total amount that you pay? Okay, so when we think about this, everybody, if we're trying to get that total amount based on the context that we see here, is it fair to say that we want to take this $84 and then add whatever an 18% tip is? Is that fair to say? Yeah, I think so too. So that's what we're thinking of here. I'm thinking of, hey, I'm going to take that $84 and I want to add on to it whatever the tip amount was. And so to find out what that amount of the tip is, we're actually in a pretty convenient position because, hey, we have the percent of the tip, and we have how much the original bill was. So we can use that right there, full stop, and we can get the amount of the tip right away. So let me write that down over here. The tip over here is going to be 18% of $84. And so what that's going to turn into is we're going to take the decimal here, move it twice to the left to convert that percentage. So that'll be 0.18 multiplied by 84. So let's go ahead and calculate this over here. 84 multiplied by 0.18. Move that over slightly. And here we go. 4 multiplied by 8 is 32. Carry the 3. 8 times 8 is 64. Carry the 3 is 67. Next up, we'll go ahead and place a 0 so we can move things over. Then we have 4 times 1. 8 times 1. Add that all together and we have 2. 11, carry the 1. 6 plus 8 is 14. Carry the 1 is 15. So we have 15, 12. We're going to go ahead here and take the decimals back. 1, 2. And we have $15.12. So remember, everybody, it's not about celebrating the first correct calculation that you do, because that'll trick you. It'll make you believe that the answer is C when in fact it's not. The tip is $15.12. The tip itself. To get the final amount, we would have to add that tip to the original bill, and that's what'll give us the final amount. And that's right over here. $84 and no change plus $15.12. Bring this together now, so we'll have 12 cents at the end. 9 right there, 9 right there. And that's $99.12. That is the proper final answer. That'll be answer choice B. Another way that we could have done this was adding the 18% tip to 100%. And that would have been 118%, or 1.18 multiplied by $84. This would still work. That would still get you the same correct answer. But here's the reason why I didn't actually go that route. Everybody, you tell me in the chat box, yes or no, for you personally, is it easier for you to add one number at the end, or is it easier for you to multiply by a 3-digit number? What's easier for you, to add one number at the end or to multiply by a 3-digit number? Yeah, and if you're saying add, you are with the vast majority of students who agree. Yeah, adding is a lot easier than multiplying by a 3-digit number, but either way, this will still get you the same correct answer. Feel free to verify with a calculator. I promise you, same exact one. But nonetheless, everybody, the correct answer here is $99.12.